We tried to GFCC shut us down for obscene. Good evening. Welcome to the June 15th, 2015 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. At this time, I'd like to remind you, if you would, take your cell phones and put them on mute or turn them off if you haven't done so already. And would you please stand and repeat after me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Applications heard during tonight's meeting will be voted on by the Planning and Zoning Commission during the meeting tonight. The Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation on these applications will then be submitted to the St. Charles County Council for their final decision on the items. The individual items or bills will be introduced at the Monday, July 13th, 2015 County Council meeting. I see we have a quorum. Will someone move that we open the meeting? So moved. And second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. The following documents are introduced as a matter of record for the public hearing and regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. The Unified Development Ordinance of St. Charles County, including zoning maps, and the year 2025 Master Plan for St. Charles County, which includes the year 2025 Future Land Use Plan map. Just for a roadmap for the evening, I will read each application and turn into the record. We will then ask staff for their analysis and recommendation. We will then invite the applicant, if they're in the room and wish to do so, may come forward and explain the application and answer any questions that the commission may have for them. After that time, we will open it up to the public, or anyone who wishes to speak on that particular application will be allowed to do so. If you do speak, we have a box of speaker cards up here. Please make sure you fill one out and place it in this box up here just so we have a record of who spoke. After the public hearing, we will then invite the applicant back up to answer any of the issues that were brought up during the public hearing and answer any further questions by the commission. We will then bring it back for the commission. We will discuss it openly and then vote our recommendation on the item. And again, the items we vote on tonight will be heard again at the Monday, July 13th County Council meeting. The first item on the agenda, conditional use permit, CUP 15-000003. Robert Chantro, the applicant, Dardine Creek Farms Incorporated owner. The application requests a conditional use permit for a nursery and lawn care service. The property is zoned A, agricultural district, 5-acre minimum lot size, and is located on the northwest side of Hopewell Road, approximately 1,300 feet northeast of Hoffman Road. The property is approximately 11.29 acres in size and is located within Council District 2. Staff?
Thank you. Okay, the subject site is zoned agricultural with floodplain or floodway and floodway fringe overlay districts. The property to the south is also zoned agricultural, and that has floodway overlay district. To the east is also zoned agricultural with floodway fringe and floodway overlay district, and to the north is agricultural with a conditional use permit for a nursery. On the property to the north is a single-family residence, and and to the south, the uses are single-family residence and a conditional use permit for topsoil extraction. To the east is a single-family residence and agricultural farm, and to the west is an agricultural farm. Okay, the subject petition, we included all of the property that Mr. Chatro owns on this side of Hopewell Road in the application. There is the existing conditional use permit for a nursery. We are also adding to that site the lawn care business conditional use permit. And then on the remaining part of the property, which is like almost 9 acres, that they're requesting the conditional use permit for the nursery and the lawn care. Staff has reviewed the criteria in the Unified Development Ordinance for conditional uses and the uses requested, and find that the uses are consistent with other uses permitted in the area. We had the extraction of topsoil across the street, and we also have the boat storage and a nursery on the property that's to the northwest. So staff, based on these uses in the area, staff is recommending approval Our approval is subject to a site plan being submitted to and approved by the St. Charles County Community Development Department, including the entrances, parking, and location of all structures. No conditional use shall be in active use until all conditions of the approval have been met. In any case where conditional use is not in place and in active use within 2 years of the date of granting and/or in accordance with the terms of the conditional use originally granted or subsequently amended, then without further action by the Planning and Zoning Commission and/or the County Council, the conditional use or authorization thereof shall be null and void. And we received no letters. Are there questions of staff? Thanks.
All right, thank you. Is the applicant in the room? Come on up. Can you raise your right hand for us?
Yes.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, can you state your name and address for our record, please?
Robert Shatro, address 3150 Hopewell Road,
All right, go ahead.
Winsville. Like I said, I'm coming to the board. I have a nursery landscape material yard on the premises now on 3 acres. And I would like to get an additional acreages next to it, zone for it. And then we have a buyer for our location now, which is only on 3 acres. And when I went to the county advised me that we'd have to have 5 to sell our existing building to build our new building. So I have to get additional 2 acres to even sell the property that I'm on now for the 5-acre code. So I'm here to do that, and then I was going to get the additional 6 acres next to my property zoned so that I can move from one to the other. So basically I'm staying in the same area, just moving from one lot to the other. Same things will be done, same materials, same nursery operation, and just asking for the conditional use for the adjoining property that I own, so that we'll be able to sell the 5 and then move over on the 6.2 next to it. So I think that's all I have.
Any questions for the applicant? All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we will now open this up to the public, so if there's anybody that wishes to speak on this particular application, please feel free to come forward and do so.
How you doing today?
Good. Can you raise your right hand for us? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
I do.
Can you state your name and address for our record, please?
Paul Bay, 3203 Hopewell.
Okay.
Real close neighbor. I got a petition here for about 30 signatures or better, all on Hopewell. I took one against it. Rob's my friend, he's a buddy, but I just don't think it's the right thing. I got some pictures here. It's a hard turn, okay, and there's 4 driveways on this hard turn. I know since he's built his new home, there's probably been at least 4 or 5 accidents, okay, onto his property. So, and then if we're going to move his business down the street, I don't even think it's a quarter mile, he's got big dump trucks. And this is a very hard curve. I mean, if you probably excess 25 miles an hour, you're probably going to have a problem, okay? And there's 4 driveways, probably within 100 feet of this. Like I said, I got pictures, so I can.
If you
give
want
it
to put them on that little thing next to you, that'll actually put them up on our
Yeah.
our screen so we can take a look.
Great.
Put them face up. Yep, exactly.
Can you see that?
And they'll take care of it in the back. Yep.
Okay. You can see his house, it's right across from the opening that he wants to go ahead and do. There's another one up here in this corner right here, and it's not being used now, but it's somebody's property, right? But there's an opening right there. Okay? There's another one right across that loops now. So, in fact, you could see the dark lines, which is about here. Okay? So there's 4 drives in that hard curve. You're going to run dump trucks in and out of that drive here, you know what I mean, with no signatures and stuff. I think you're going to have a complication. And about 30 other people agree with me, you know what I mean? And they all live on Hopewell. I mean, I got nothing against Rob, he's a great neighbor, I use his material and everything else, but to move his thing from where he's at now to there, I think it's going to be a big troublesome spot, you know what I mean? So I think we should look at it, pretty good. You know what I mean? I'm not here to beat him down for a business guy or anything like that, because I like the guy. He lives next door to me, and I even buy my material from him. He treats me well. He even comes to me on Saturday, so can't no complaints there. But I just think that it's not the proper thing. The other thing, and I think it's going to probably bring property value down, you know what I mean? Not up, you know what I mean? He's got probably at least $1 million, $1.2 million home, and to run a business across the street, I don't think is going to be beneficial. I think it'd be detrimental, you know what I mean? Especially unless you got another buyer that's going to own a business in the home and live across the street. I don't know who'd want to view that. You know what I mean? And I don't only just own that property. I've got another property in Hopewell too. So I think it's more residential, and that's really where it should stay. But he's got the other use permit there, and his business is fine. Nobody complains. But there's a creek between us, so there's a pretty good distance. But to move, and I don't know what company's buying it. I heard it was a cement company or somewhat. So there's going to be double the traffic, and I don't know how many vehicles they have, that's buying this property. And I would think for the number of the money that they're going to pay for their property, they got to have more than a couple trucks, you know what I mean? So you're adding a lot of traffic flow to a bad curve. And like I said, I've got signatures to back it up, so I can leave this with you.
Thank you.
That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Hey, Paul, where'd you get the signatures? If you have 30 of them, how many people live off that road, and how far down?
On Hopewell?
Yeah.
Last Sunday in the rain, I decided to take a walk.
Okay.
And the other thing, I just seen the sign probably like 3 days ago in the night, you know what I mean? Because I've been getting home at midnight. I got a business and I'm just busy. So I seen it and I thought, because they tried to do this, Jan knows about this. When I first moved there, Baxter Gardens tried to buy the property from Chris Blattle right next to me and run their landscape business from Highway K next to my property. And I just moved in, spent $500,000 on my property 10 years ago, and man, I was pretty distressed about it. I didn't buy my property to live next door to a business, you know what I mean? So I got same signatures, almost everybody on the block. I only had one person not want to sign because he's a friend of Rob's, and I told him that's fine, you know what I mean? The difference is, friendship and business is two different things as far as that is.
Are they people that own individual houses?
Yep,
along the
everybody
road?
here
All
owns
30
homes
of them?
on Hope, every
Or is
one
there
of them.
duplicates, like
Nope,
husband,
nope.
wife, or?
Nope, no, there's no duplicates.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's everybody that lives on Hopewell. And I think there's one that might not. It's on Dyer, or the road around the corner, which is directly around it,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I'd like to leave them with you, you know what I mean? And their phone numbers are on here if you want to call them. And a couple of them are going to make the meeting. I actually think somebody might be here, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I just think you should take a hard look at it,
All right.
Like I said, I'm not here to beat them down, but it's just, I don't think it's the right, proper thing to do. But I'd look at the driveways, because, to me, that's a hard curve with, and it's not small vehicles. It's big vehicles that we're running here. So where would I leave this?
If
Bring
you
them
can
to
leave
you?
it with me.
Yeah,
Okay.
she'll get it in.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. All right. We will continue with the public portion of this. So if there's anybody else in the room that wishes to speak on this particular application, please feel free to come forward and do so. Can you raise your right hand for us? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, can you state your name and address for our record, please?
My name is Larry Hines. I actually live at 161 Carlton Point Drive, but my son and I own the boat and storage place that we've been working on for the last 3 years. And my concerns is only in one area of this whole thing. Is Rob going to be to where the same scruples that we've been to with the water drainage problem that is in that area? Is he going to have to build retention ponds like we did to drain all of our water to a retention pond to have no leakage but through filtration plants like we've done?
Yes.
All that ground will have to be subject to
Yeah,
that? Okay.
he's subject to the exact same regulations that
Okay.
you were in our site plan
Okay.
and our.
I knew when
land
we did it,
disturbance.
he was grandfathered in from his original deal, and he didn't have to do any to that. Can he still raise the ground level from that area?
The area that's not in the floodway, yes, that area can be raised.
Okay, so any ground that's in the floodplain cannot be raised.
No, the floodplain can be raised, the floodway cannot be raised, unless you have a no-rise certificate.
Okay, okay. And what part of that area, what part of his ground is all in that floodplain?
On the map, The light-colored stripes, that's what's in the floodplain, and in the floodway are the darker blue, narrower stripes.
Okay. Okay. My concerns is there that right now we're having a problem with draining the water around our property. Everything that's on top of our property drains into our retention pond. Where my fence is, his ground's a foot higher than mine. And I've talked to Rob about it a couple times, but nothing's ever happened from it. And I'm just curious if this could be fixed while we're doing this.
You'll have to ask our Development Review
Okay.
Division.
This will be done through the
Through the
planning and
site
zoning
plan
thing?
review,
Okay.
right.
That's my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Continuing with the public portion, if there's anybody else that wishes to speak, please feel free to come forward and do so. Can you raise your right hand for us? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you state your name and address for our record, please?
My name's John Miner, and I live at 3479 Deer Court. I'm the big green mass there to the east.
Okay, go ahead.
I have 75 acres there. I'm also friends with Rob. My main concern with something like this is, what does a nursery and lawn care service conditional use permit actually allow? What kind of business does that allow?
Jan's gonna pull out the,
I'll have to read the definitions from the book. Okay, a nursery is an enterprise that conducts the retail and/or wholesale sale of trees, shrubs, flowers, and grasses grown on or off the premises for transplanting, as well as accessory items. Accessory products for sale may include, but are not limited to, fertilizers, mulch, edging materials, topsoil. Services associated with the nursery include landscape design and installation of materials sold from the nursery. And then the lawn care. The lawn care service is a business devoted to cutting grass on private or public property. Such service shall not include materials or equipment used for landscaping.
Okay, thank you. So my main concern is you issue a permit like this, and perhaps a business moves in that does not meet those requirements. Is there an enforcement arm of the planning and zoning that in the future will continue to monitor the businesses that locate at these addresses and make sure that they in fact meet the definition that was just read?
yes, we do have a code enforcement division that, that inspects properties all over the county, daily, and issues citations and violation notices. Half the time we see applications for us are because they were in violation and didn't realize it. But,
Okay.
but yes, we do have a code enforcement division that issues citations and violations.
Other than that, I got no problem with it then.
All right, thank
Thank you.
you. All right, continuing with the public portion, if there's anybody in the room that wishes to speak on this, please feel free to come forward and do so. Going once, going twice. All right. We will ask, invite the applicant, if he wishes to come back forward and do so, if he wishes to speak to any of the issues brought up.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm say, Jan, can you bring that map back up, the
That one?
one before? Okay. I'd like to address Paul Bay's question with the driveway. I have a driveway that comes across the street from my house, Paul. That driveway is not going to be used for that nursery.
Sir.
Actually, I might even.
Sir, if you would address the
Okay.
commission, yeah, you're
Okay.
speaking, yeah, it's all right.
So anyway, the driveway that's across the street from my home is just a driveway that I use if I have an extra car or something, I want to pull it, I pull it across the street while I'm waiting to, if there's too many cars in my driveway. I just use it as an overflow to my house. So that's not going to be the driveway for the nursery. I had Rich Rich was out last week, Nakoki, and his crew, and I met with them, and I showed them where the driveway's gonna be. Can I show somehow on this map, to show,
On that next one,
Well,
or,
there it is. That's the driveway right there, right?
I can show about where it's going to be.
Yeah.
the existing driveway, yeah, okay, there's
Out there?
existing, show my existing driveway now to my shop, no, back to the left. Yeah,
Here.
driveway's right there. My new driveway is literally gonna be 100 feet from that. About where your arrow's gonna be, about right there is gonna be the new driveway, Paul, to the new building. That other driveway over there is not gonna be used, no way, no how, for the nursery, because it is too close to the corner, and I wouldn't want that, I wouldn't want the traffic problem either on the corner. That's why I told Rich Nakoki that my new driveway is gonna be down real close to my old driveway, which will give plenty of room for cars to be coming around the corner and, slow down if somebody would be pulling out of my business. So I already did take that in consideration and talk to Rich about it, and he thought that was a good idea because he thought we were gonna use the driveway across the street too, and I said, no, we're not. I don't want that. So to address that question for Paul, it's not gonna be on the corner, no. It's gonna be down within 100 feet of my old shop driveway right now. So the traffic will be a lot better to come through there. The other question that I'd like to answer for Larry Hines is, I would like to address that little water issue that we have between our boundaries. His 3-acre lot there where his nursery is there, and my property. We've had a little bit of a water ponding little problem there in the corner where it meets. Can you put that arrow there, Jan, for me? Right there, yeah, on the very corner.
Right there?
Right there, yeah. We've had an issue with that, and I would like to resolve that with Larry, and I told Larry before, we talked about it, I just never did get it done, but I told him that we need to, it's got to come across my property. The water that comes out there, it has to come out on my property, and it was, standing a little bit in that corner, and it's hard for Larry to mow on his side of the fence. So I will definitely address that problem, and whatever which way Larry, and I decide to, but I'll do all the work and the ditching and the piping and whatever needs to be done to take care of that water. And then the water on top of his property, of course, goes into his retention area. So yeah, I will go by, the county's recommendations and Larry's so that we can get that little water issue there between our properties resolved so that there is no standing water and there's no water stopping. It'll be flowing across my property. The water comes from his property onto mine, which is fine. I have that's all in grass, so the grass can take it and use the water. It's just we have a little bit of a low spot right there in that corner where his fence is. It's been ponding a little bit, so I will take care of that problem with Larry and with the county if they need some kind of a different kind of a drainage system put in there to get that through. But it's basically going to end up in my property and flow across my grass, basically. So, but I will address both those with.
How many, typically, what size of your vehicles that you're running in and out of your?
We have pickup trucks. We have 1-ton trucks. We have 2-ton trucks. We have different size trucks.
How often are they in and out of there during the day?
It really depends.
They're not coming
Each
out
one a
that
couple
week?
times. No, we're not really that busy as much as normal nurseries because we're really not on a main road. Hopewell's not a very highly trafficked road, so we get a lot of just call-ins. We don't have a lot of drive-by traffic. Some, just not a lot. So we really don't have that much traffic coming in and out.
But each vehicle could be in and out more than once a day.
Yeah, it could be.
As opposed to some that leave in the morning,
Right.
do their thing, and come back, leave in the morning and come back in the evening, and never shall you see them during the day.
Right.
But
We only have
this
four employees. We're a small business. There's not many cars coming in and out. We get a few people coming in to get rock or mulch or something. But it's not like a something on Highway 94 or a Mexico Road or Highway K. A big road where you're going to get a lot of traffic. Hopewell's not a very highly trafficked road. But like I say, I'm going to put my entrance down, way down towards my other old existing entrance so that there's plenty of room for people to, come around the corner and they won't be, boom, our driveway won't be right there. It'll be way down, near our old entrance. And that's why I wanted to do that, just so it would be good for the road and for the people on the road. So that's
So
all.
The property that you're currently operating on is the 5 acres that you're going to sell?
Yes.
What's going to happen with that?
That is, there's another nursery landscape outfit that's buying that, and that's why I had to add the additional 2 acres to it, because originally I got my zoning conditional use permit in 2001. And back in 2001, you could do 3 acres.
Okay.
But in 2005, I think is when Jan said they changed it to 5 acres. So she said the only way you can sell that is you have to add 2 more acres to it to even sell it. You can't sell it with only 3.
So there's going to be another entity in there operating another?
Yeah, there'll be
Property?
yeah, they'll be in my old building, in my old driveway, and then my new building will be next door, basically. So there'll be 2 of us.
So will you have additional driveways that aren't there now? I mean, he'll have one and you'll have your new one?
Yeah, he'll have mine, and then my new driveway will be 100 feet, I guess that'd be north of that, Jan?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what, I met with Rich and them, and they thought that would be a good spot for it.
Okay.
Because we can't share a driveway.
Right.
If I could, I would share the existing driveway I have, but I can't do that because it's on the 3-acre parcel. And even Rich asked, he goes, "You can share a driveway?" I said, "No, I can't, Rich." I said, "That's on my property." I said, "I have to move it." He goes, "Well, you have to be so many feet from the other driveway." And I said, "I know that." So we kind of marked it out of where we thought it should go, and
Are they going to be doing basically the same things that you do? Or is it going to be
yeah,
same type of an operation?
similar, so, but like I say, we're going to build, next to it, and
Why don't you just keep all the property?
I thought about that, but we've been trying to, build a new building, and if we could sell our old building and build a new one. We've been there 15 years, and that was our goal, and so we want to build a new building. Pretty much same operation as what we're doing, just a newer building and some newer things in the building, and
Right.
it just update a little bit, and but we're, like I said, we're going to get along with him, and he's got a business there, and then Larry and Shannon, they got their nursery business behind me on the corner, that other piece there up there in the corner. So, but we all get along, and we're going to get along with the new guys too, and work together, and might be able to share a business or give them business if we're too busy or
Yeah.
whatever. So, but
All right.
that's our plans.
So he mentioned some accidents, 4 of them. Did you guys have anything to do with those accidents?
No, there's been 3 accidents on that corner since I've lived there, and I've lived there since '06. So in the last 9 years, there's been three accidents on that
But
corner.
it's not you guys.
What's
It's
that?
not any of your,
No, just people coming around corners too fast, or the road was slick, and they slid off, so it was nothing major, but no, I just, I didn't want to put my driveway there. I wanted to move it way down, closer to my other driveway, so that there's plenty of straightaway both ways to see, and for people to be able to make that corner and not be right on top of my driveway and, cause any accidents. So, okay?
Any other questions for the applicant? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, now, before we bring it, the public portion's been closed, so I'll bring it back for the commission. Any comments, suggestions? Entertain a motion if someone's willing.
motion to approve.
All right, it's been a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Ms. Polly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Settley?
Yes.
Mr. McBride?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Fromm?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhn?
Yes.
All right. Motion is approved, 7-0. Yeah. And again, so that was, moving on, that one is moving on to the county council Monday, July 13th. meeting. The next application is another conditional use permit, CUP 15-000004. Mike Wojciech, the applicant, Kenneth Sprock, Elaine George, Edward and Gertrude Sprock Revocable Trust, and Central Electric Power Cooperative Incorporated is the owner. The application requests a conditional use permit for athletic fields. The property is zoned A Agricultural District, 5-acre minimum lot size, and is located on the west side of Highway Z, approximately 300 feet south of Steely Road. The property is approximately 62.41 acres in size and is located within Council District 2. Staff?
Thank you. Okay, the subject site and all the adjacent properties are zoned A agricultural. Land uses include to the north, St. Charles County Highway Department maintenance shed, a telecommunications facility, and agricultural land. To the south is vacant residential and single-family residential. To the east is single-family residential, and to the west is agricultural. They're requesting to put athletic fields on the property. We've looked at this from the standpoints of where we have permitted other athletic fields. We permitted other athletic fields on Highway DD near Darden Creek. And basically, when we're looking at a use like this, we like them to be on a state highway or a major arterial. And this use does fit by being on the state highway. Also, we have uses that aren't traditional, like residential uses in the area with the substation, the highway shed, and the telecommunications building. So from a land use standpoint, we don't look at this as being too far out in left field, let's say. Although they're doing soccer.
Yeah, pardon the pun there.
Pardon the pun.
I'll grant the pun.
Okay, relative to the site design, as we were evaluating this, Highway Z, like Highway DD, has to have the additional setback for parking, and Highway N, for the future transportation plan. All of their athletic fields, parking, everything has to be set back 110 feet from the center line of Highway Z. We've also, the major residential development adjacent to this is going to be to the south and the west. So we have put a condition in that all fields be at least 100 feet from those property lines, and the parking be set back at least 50 feet from those property lines. So staff is recommending approval subject to the following conditions. Oh, I'm sorry, I wanted to mention one more thing. We included the Central Electric Power Cooperative site in this conditional use permit because they want to share that entrance point with them. And we're in favor of them sharing that entrance point. There's a curve there, and the Sprock Road, which is used by the Highway Department and Central Power, we think that's probably one of the better entrance spots along that stretch. So we're in favor of that, but we had to include that into the conditional use permit because you can't have the access for a use not to be on the same zoning or the same thing. So that's why that's there. But Central Electric has requested that we add a condition to this that they can only use their property for the access point. So we've added a condition to help the power company. And I would think that their lawyer's going to put that in the easement agreement, but at this time, no one knows where the easement is, so I'll just leave it at that. We'll iron all that out for site plan approval. Yeah, we won't let that happen for site plan. Okay, so therefore, the conditions we're recommending be approved with this are: a site plan must be submitted to and approved by the St. Charles County Community Development Department. Number 2, there shall be no athletic fields or associated parking on the 10-acre tract owned by Central Electric Power Cooperative. 3 hours of operation shall be limited to 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Any athletic field or lighting associated with the field shall be set back 100 feet from the west and south property lines. All parking areas shall be set back 50 feet from the west and south property lines. 6, all improvements shall be set back 110 feet from the center line of Highway Z. 7, no conditional use shall be in active use until such time as all conditions of approval have been met. And 8, in any case where a conditional use is not in place and in active use within 2 years from the date of granting and/or in accordance with the terms of the conditional use originally granted or subsequently amended, then without further action by the Planning and Zoning Commission and/or the County Council, the conditional use or authorization thereof shall be null and void. We did receive one letter in opposition from Robert and Rose Fink. Any questions of staff? Thank you.
All right. Is the applicant in the room? Come on up. Can you raise your right hand for us? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, can you state your name and address for our record, please?
Mike Wojcik, 2818 Estates Court.
All right, go ahead.
First of all, we're good with all the recommendations that Jan had mentioned there. Secondly, I'm the president of Missouri Thorns Football Club. It's right now it's predominantly an all-girls soccer club that has a pro affiliation to the Portland Thorns, where Alex Morgan plays. We're trying to bring something for the girls soccer to this area, and this is part of our plan. What we're doing here is we're putting 7 soccer fields on this site. 5 of these are going to be grass fields, and 2 of these are going to be synthetic turf. At an investment of $1.2 million, is what these turf fields cost. We're going green with the turf fields. There's been a lot of talk about with the black rubber stuff being a carcinogen to kids and everything. We're going with coconut husk, which is supposed to be a better playing field anyways. It's better for the environment, it's better for everything, better for runoff, better for everything. So like Jan said, another big thing we looked into this was put the access off Sprock Road. That way, it's going to be the only access to our site with just a road going into the middle of the property from Sprock Road. And I think that's going to alleviate any kind of traffic issues there may be on Highway Z as well, by just making an entrance that's in Sprock Road. She talked about the easement. The lighting system we're using, the 2 turf fields were the only lighted fields we have, and there's new technology out there. I think we all remember the days where the high school field had the big light pollution, going off for miles, big white haze, of light. Well, now they've got lights called Mosco lights, MOSCO. What they are, they have shades in these lights, and there's a couple facilities in the area have them, but they actually just shine down on the field, and the shade prevents the light from illuminating and creating light pollution for the rest of the surrounding area. Another question, there would be no PA system. Soccer does not get played with a PA system unless it's a collegiate event or a pro soccer event. There's no announcements of players. I know some high schools do that, but there's no PA system, so that won't be a problem as well. We're also, building the multiple fields. We're going to stagger the game times out, or the practice facilities out. So it's not going to be, most likely, 99% of the time, it's not going to be all 7 fields used at one time. They're going to be staggered around, using the fields at different times for practices. That's about all I had. Any
Any questions for the applicant?
How many parking spaces do you plan on having? I can't remember.
I believe it was 300 parking spaces.
Okay.
The whole front part there is going to be parking along the access road. That's all parking, and then on the front is the parking. I can't really see the numbers there, but
Have you looked at what the parking is at other facilities are similar to this?
yes.
Is it
yes.
comparable?
Yes, we looked at Heartland facility, has 2 turf fields there in Wentzville with their parking, and we also looked at SLISA, St. Louis Soccer Association, down in 370.
Anything else for the applicant?
Is there a demand for this in
Oh,
this
yeah.
area?
Oh, yeah.
There is?
We had, we're a new club, brand new club, but we had 350 girls come out for tryouts this past weekend. We're a brand new club. There's Scott Gallagher's another large club that we'll be competing against. They've got 4,000 kids that play there. There's a huge demand for soccer.
Is there going to be any seating available at any fields?
It's mainly practice facilities. What happens is, a lot of parents bring their own chairs. You can get,
Right.
small bleachers, but they're not very comfortable. So I think St. Louis Youth Soccer Association has, I don't think they have any bleachers. I think everyone just sort of brings their own chairs, and, it's cleaner look, it's just basically fields out there and then chairs, and everybody takes their chairs and leaves. So,
So you're not ever going to have any huge crowds in there anyway?
no, not typically. We may have a tournament down the road, but, we got to get these things built before we can do any of that, so.
Right.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
We will now open this up to the public, so if there's anybody that wishes to speak on this particular application, please feel free to come forward and do so. In the box, there you go. Yeah, no problem. Can you raise your right hand for us? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, can you state your name and address for our record, please?
Becky Murphy, 3816 Highway Z. He answered a lot of questions that I had. But the main thing is the traffic on Highway Z. And knowing where the entrance is, that's the only place you can put an entrance without somebody getting hit. So that's comforting to know. But the traffic is going to be really bad when you have your games and stuff. That's what I think about on the weekends and I'm assuming weekends. Is this going to be international? You know, where there's going to be...
I believe he said it was, just practice facilities and
Let's
stuff.
say
so
4 years from now, 5 years from now.
Are you worried about it being international?
Oh, no. No, you're talking about terrorists? No. I'm talking about crowds of people coming, and be able to accommodate them, the roadway. I'm thinking down the road.
Right.
You see what's happening in San
You're worried
Charles
about the
County?
traffic.
Yeah, and I mean, it is, Highway Z is bad. And they just got done fixing it, but that's the main concern that I have right now. And what about the sewers and all that? I know that all has to be approved. Don't want any problems because it's residential around there. Don't want any issues with that. But that's the only thing I have right now. No, it's just, well, you're talking about groups of people. I mean, it isn't like a winery, which is bad enough. But anyway, that's all I have at this time.
Thank you. All right, again, if there's anybody else that wishes to speak on this, all right. Can you raise your right hand for us? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you state your name and address for our record, please?
Rob Jorgensen. I own the property, 3457. My current address is 578 Mortz Drive in Winsville. I purchased my property that's right next to it to build a nice home, and a fairly nice home. I didn't build it to have a parking lot going down along the side of my property line. And then the lights also is a little bit of a concern, even though I know the newer technology may solve part of that. And then my other big concern is also just traffic. The biggest concern I had, which they somewhat have addressed by taking off the road that they're currently coming off of, because I've talked to one of the gentlemen about the property and what they're going to do. Initially, they were going to come off of Highway Z in the entrance that exists today, and that would have been nothing but a death trap because of how the traffic flows. So for me, that was a huge concern. But my other bigger concern I have is like the septic system, what's going to happen, where's it going to be at, because it's probably going to be somewhat close to my property, whatever they end up doing, which is a major concern for me at this point. The other thing that's alarming to me is I actually talked to them about it, trying to see if I could buy some of the land to create a little bit more of a buffer, because I have nothing against having a soccer field and stuff for kids. And had my conversations, called them, then all of a sudden they never called me back. And after seeing what's up there now, I see exactly why they never called me back. Because initially they told me there was going to be nothing. This area here, supposedly was going to be a buffer, there was going to be nothing in it, there was going to be trees and stuff that would create a distance. And I told them at that point, that's really true, will you just sell me the land so I'm guaranteed that I would have the buffer? And I never did get the call back. So at this point, I'm a little alarmed at what they're doing or not doing. And then the traffic, at the end of the day, the traffic on that road is somewhat pretty busy, and I had concern even when I came out there. Adding this to it is going to increase the traffic even more. I'm to the point that if this actually goes through how it's proposed now, I'm not building. It's that simple, because I'm not going to build a $1 million home next to this. So that's all I got to say.
All right, if there's anybody else that wishes to speak on this, please feel free. Okay, can you raise your right hand for us? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, can you state your name and address for a record, please?
Amy Cartman, 52 Steely Road.
All right, go ahead.
We own the property, we own about 19 acres that's near this property. Our actual home that we built about 7 years ago is within 300 feet of where these fields will be. We did talk to the county before we invested a substantial investment in this property in our home, and to make sure that the use in the area would remain low-density residential, which we were assured that it would. So we're very concerned about something that is a use that we feel diminishes the property value. And I think you just heard a homeowner speak that doesn't want to build his home if this goes through. We have another homeowner in the area that's trying to sell because they don't want to live there if there's going to be soccer fields. So I think we can be pretty assured that it will diminish our property value. It's the lighting, the noise, and the traffic, which you've heard everybody talk about, that's our concerns as well. We have responded personally to 3 accidents there on that curve where you're talking about having the entrance. Since we've lived there, there's been plenty more than that, but there's 3 that we were the first people to respond because we are so close to that area. So it's very dangerous because the elevation change and the curve right there where they're talking about doing the entrance. I know that you mentioned earlier in this meeting about the fact that you felt the use was appropriate because of the power substation, the highway department, and I think you mentioned a telephone facility. But I actually feel different than that because to me, when you have a master plan like you do that shows low-density rural residential, you should spread those things out so you're not putting them all together and blighting an area of residential use where we've got some pretty substantial investments by the homeowners. I do think that it will impede the development around the area, and I think we just heard somebody who proved that. People aren't going to want to build right around that area. And since we have we have 3 different parcels. Part of that was for investment, part of it was what we built our home on, and I'm concerned about our ability to get our value back out of that because we would sell that property to somebody building a home. Actually, one of our parcels is right across the street from the gentleman that just spoke. The third thing I'm concerned about that I mentioned is a public safety factor, and it's really because of these accidents that we've responded to over the years that we've lived there. The fourth and my final item is the utilities and drainage. We currently have a problem we have the property that's across the street, and that property drains onto our property, and we have had to invest in improvements, including a concrete inlet. We're trying to manage the erosion, and even with the money that we've put in trying to stop it, it's eroding around that. So I mean, we've got problems now that will be increased by having the parking area built on that property. So I'm really hopeful that this process works and that the homeowners that have been contacted that are within 500 feet, our concerns are respected and considered in this decision. But if not, and you go ahead and approve this, then there's some conditions that I think need to be added to what she spoke to earlier. One is a minimum 6-foot berm that has a dense planting of pine and spruce trees so that you don't have the visual effect that people are going to have driving in that area and seeing a bunch of parking right along Highway Z. The second is an appropriate sanitary sewer system. I truthfully don't know how you can, and I actually am a civil engineer, so I've had a little bit of study in this, but I don't know how you can have that many people that would be coming for practice or tournaments. There's 7 fields, and I don't believe that you're only going to be using a field at a time. So theoretically, you could have all 7 fields in use, and the parents and other people that are there to see the practice or the games. And I'm not sure what you're going to build that's not a public sanitary sewer system that's going to be adequate for that situation. And of course, it does all drain over onto our property, so it's a pretty big concern of ours. The lights, I know he mentioned using, I wasn't sure if I got the term right, Moscow lights or whatever that help with the radiation of that light. But I mean, really, can you imagine, when we're 300 feet away, can you imagine sitting out on our front porch and having to deal with that lighting factor? I mean, that is not something that you can say will not diminish the value of living in that area. I would ask for a curfew of 9 p.m. He said 10 p.m. Another thing is I think that if you allow this, there needs to be a southbound turn right lane to get into that facility because of, if you haven't gone out there, go out there and look at the problem on that corner and check the records for the number of accidents that have occurred right on that corner at Steely and Z because there's a lot. And without a southbound turn lane to get people off of that, and I just think we'll have more accidents. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up was just that there would be some kind of collaboration with the State Highway Department in potentially restructuring that curve, which really truthfully needs to be done whether this field is built or not, but certainly if you add this kind of a facility to the area. So I think that's all I've got. I do have a question, though, is the process, the way it works, I know there's already been people out there looking at this, and I know that it's already your intent to recommend this. Hopefully, you're going to listen to what we all have to say, but between now and when the council meets, who makes the final decision, is there any opportunity to provide input to the council?
You can always provide input to the council before they begin hearing this. And of course, anybody and everybody is always welcome to also attend the county council meeting and express your concerns to them as well, to them too at the meeting as well.
Do they make their decision at the meeting, or is it voted on after the meeting?
In fact, how many vote?
The council will have two readings on.
Two readings of it. Yeah, it will be.
legislation.
Yeah, they won't even vote on it at that particular meeting. There's two readings on it. So
And one's public and one's not, or
No,
no, they're
both
both
are public.
both of them public. Yeah.
how spaced apart are they?
Yeah, I mean, every 2 weeks,
Well,
the council
it's
meetings
the-
are.
The second and last Monday of the month, right? So I don't know where the Mondays fall.
So it's 2 weeks at least.
And are
Okay.
the readings typically consecutive? Do they normally do the second reading, the
Wait,
meeting after the first meeting?
yeah, they introduce the legislation at the first meeting and do the final reading at the second meeting
Okay.
of the month.
So if additional information is supplied through email, that will be reviewed by either you guys or the council before a decision is made?
No,
Yeah, well,
No,
No, we're gonna
the
make a
Planning and Zoning Commission, they can make their decision this evening.
Right.
The staff has only made a recommendation. The Planning and Zoning Commission hasn't made any decision on this at all. And the Planning and Zoning Commission can vote to approve, deny, or table the request. If they vote to approve or deny it, it goes straight to the county council. Any correspondence you have from this point on is best addressed to the county council office, because then you're assured that it's going to get into their packets of
Okay,
information.
all right. Well, thank you for the opportunity.
thank you.
I got a question for staff.
Yeah.
Is this the only site plan we're going to get? Will there be a separate
Okay.
approval of a site plan? I got one in an email that I couldn't read. I got one here I can't read.
Well, I have the full-size copy of the site plan if you want to read it, but I really want to caution you guys, you do not approve the site plan.
yeah.
You only approve the use. Staff approves the site plan. So once you approve the use, then we approve the site plan to make sure that it meets all of the county requirements. So that's when we will address like if MoDOT has comments. MoDOT has not come forward with comments yet. They've been contacted, but we have not heard from them yet. And if this would get approved when we're in the site plan review process, they have to supply us with a permit from MoDOT. And so MoDOT will evaluate that. The septic system will be reviewed by our building division, like every other septic system in St. Charles County. So they have to, we ensure that they meet all the ordinance requirements. But this is to give you a general guide of what they're proposing on the site, if you think.
So go ahead.
But we could recommend additional conditions.
Exactly, yeah. And so, yeah, our input into the site plan would have to be through the conditions that we place upon our recommendation then.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so then, the more conditions you add, the more it goes into my review of the site plan, which is cool.
Public portion is still open, so if anybody else that wishes to speak on this, please feel free to come forward and do so. All right, can you raise your right hand for us? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you state your name and address for our record, please?
Steve Haas. I live at 201, right across the street from that Sprock Road right there.
Okay.
I'm the one that owns that house that's for sale. I put it for sale about 2 weeks ago. I've had 6 people look at it. 3 people has made comments about that field over there. No offers, no nothing. Beautiful home. I got it on the market less than what it cost to build. No offers, no nothing. I find it hard to believe somebody's going to spend millions of dollars on a field like that, and you're going to have 7 fields over there. And if you have 7 games going on, you're going to have at least 140 people out there kicking that ball around. 140. You're going to have at least 2 referees per team. And then a half hour before the game's over, you got the other set of teams coming in there. So you're going to have at least 280, 300 cars. You're going to have lights going. If he's got 2 fields with lights, you're going to have 8 sets of lights going. You're going to have the sound going. I even got a bid from a landscape company. It cost me $40,000 to get a berm put up and put trees going all along that thing and having them staggered in case one died. And just the noise level of that and having it to 10 o'clock at night and that road making a right out, going into the Sprock Road, just one lane going out and going into that, that's it. One lane, you got 140 people going to play a game within a half hour. How can you do that? And then when they leave the game, they're going to make a left-hand turn on Sprock Road, and their lights are going to go in my house. Every time the county leaves and they got to do the road work, sprinkle the ice, it goes in my room, and I understand that. But I'm going to have 140 cars every time. I have a house that's unmarketable. Nobody's going to want to live where I am. I couldn't sell it to anybody. I mean, it's a 4-bedroom house.
Is it because they know their soccer field's going in, or is it?
Well, you got the big old notice there. Future home is, the Thorns. It's sitting right there.
Has that
Public
been up there the
forum,
whole
everything.
time?
Nobody wants it.
Has that been up there the whole time you've been trying to sell your house?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's been there the whole time.
Okay.
And Amy hit it right on the nose. If you got 300-400 people out there, they're all going to the bathroom, eventually you're going to sell liquor. Eventually, when they put an arena in there, their parent company does own the Portland Thorns. They have 15,000 people go to the games. They sell jerseys. It's a big doings. You're not going to spend $2 million for a synthetic field and plus all that development on this other stuff, and then pay $1 million, $2 million for the field, and just have a girl pay her $25 every time she kicks the ball around. It won't work. There's a big game. There's something big here that we don't know. Is it that you get the permits and you do this little thing, and then 2 years later you turn around and build a big dome? What's the end game? But I'm quite upset, quite upset. I'd like to leave you a copy of this, what it costs to do a berm. And you're going to have to do something with that noise. To 10 o'clock at night, every night. You got 2 big fields, synthetic fields with lights, so you can have 8 lights on that field. People cheering for their child. My kids played sports. I enjoyed it.
Where did they play?
I lived next to a ballpark in O'Fallon growing up. I lived 3 blocks away from that. And every night you heard everybody yelling and screaming, "Go Johnny, go Susie," all night long. And that's where I'm living. That's why I try to get out.
Okay.
And I'm stuck. But I'll leave this with you all. Thank you.
All right. Again, does anybody else that wishes to speak on this, please? Can you raise your right hand for us?
Yes.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you state your name and address for our record, please?
Lisa Latham, and our address is 3272 Highway Z. And I am here just to basically back up the same feeling I'm getting from my neighbors. My house, we're catty corner from this property, and we've lived there for 17 years. The highway is busy, but it's a quiet neighborhood. And the neighbors are nice people, and we all moved out there thinking that we're going to have a nice piece of property for a long time. Our neighbors take very good care of their property. And not that I have anything against soccer or an athletic facility, I just am worried about the same thing that everyone else is worried. Highway Z is very busy. We live on a straightaway, and quite often people are going about 10 to 15 miles over the speed limit there. Like our neighbors, we've seen people who've had accidents right there at Sprock Road and were taken away on helicopters. I don't know if some of those were fatalities. So I have big concerns about the driveway. Also, right down the road in New Melle, there are already athletic fields. There's baseball and football. So not even 3/4 of a mile away from these fields, there are fields down the road. I feel like the time for these fields to be open, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., I think that would be really detrimental to the noise level in the area. And that is a big concern I have. Also, the parking is, as was shown up there on the picture, the one with the parking lot. Again, that's going to be a huge eyesore to the people in our neighborhood. That many parking spaces is really going to hurt the property values. My husband and I were empty nesters, and we're thinking about putting our home up for sale in the next 4 or 5 years, and that's going to be a huge concern. If our property level goes down, we're in the same boat as all the rest of these people. We're just really not happy with this, not at all. Thank you.
If there's anybody else that wishes to speak on this, please feel free to come forward and do so. Raise your hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, can you state your name and address for our record, please?
Scott Avery, 287 Tyndale Drive, O'Fallon. I also want to share that I'm the Ward 4 P&Z Commissioner for O'Fallon, so I usually sit on that side. I'm one of the parents for the soccer club. My daughter Abby plays for them. She plays on the under 16 team. When I heard that they were going to build the field, I thought we were going to be playing in Troy. That's what I originally thought. And when I heard it was going to be on Highway Z, I was excited that we're going to be somewhere that's close enough that family can come and watch the games. So the first thing I did when Greg talked to me about this is, being a commissioner, I drove out there and I sat on the corner by the Central Electric, watched the traffic, looked at the layout, and I think this is actually a good place for this. I have contacted the New Melle Fire Chief, Rick Massey, and talked to him about it, and he seems supportive. They're going to meet with him later on this week. My full-time job is I'm a fire chief in St. Louis County. You know, we bring up public safety issues. Any two-lane highway anywhere with a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit is going to have those accidents. It doesn't matter where you put it. I have those accidents where I work over in St. Louis County. So I don't think that's really something we should focus on. But what I can help you do is I can help you compare these 7 fields to the 14 fields that we have in O'Fallon, way down on South Highway K. There was an issue with nothing's going to be developed and it's going to ruin property values. Now that entire park is surrounded by houses, nice homes, Monticello and Crystal Estates, which is behind the Renaud Spirit Center there. That all developed. You got a Dodge dealership that went in across the street. My State Farm agent's now in a strip mall across the street. So the soccer fields did not stop the development around there. 14 fields, and there's never traffic issues. And I understand Highway K is a 4-lane road, and this is a 2-lane road. But you also got to look at the fact that there's a lot more traffic on Highway K than there is on Highway Z. I don't think this is going to set things backwards as people believe it's going to. It may at first, because it's a surprise. It's like every other development that comes before a planning and zoning commission. You know, everyone's surprised. It's going to ruin my property values. We've all heard the arguments before. But I think this is a plus for that neighborhood. I think it should be supported. We're bringing youth soccer into the area. I cannot go anywhere else within 200 miles and provide my daughter with the program that's going to be provided for her here at this complex. So I really hope that you guys consider this a positive thing for this area of the community. And I do think that once you look, I looked at the land use map also, and I think it does fit, in my opinion. So, thank you.
All right. Again, if there's anybody else that wishes to speak on this particular application? Yeah, you can come up. I'll give you a little bit.
So I need to swear and
No, you're already sworn in. Go ahead.
Well, there's a big difference between sitting out there and listening. And even if you listen to the current owner, The thing about this, and everyone keeps talking about the major accidents that happen, there's
Matt, he
Yeah,
needs to stay at the
Okay,
microphone.
stay at the podium,
Yeah, I
sorry.
guess the microphone for the
Let her
recording,
use
sorry.
her pointer or something.
Well, you have the curve there. And when they come around there, you also have accidents where their parking lot and kind of where that corner is, the cars end up going out there, is where they don't make that curve and they shoot off into the thing. So there's been major accidents that have happened there. My other big concern is, how can you compare this to something that's in O'Fallon, that's a very developed area that I'm assuming is on public sewers? I could be wrong because I don't know for sure, but there's a major, major difference there. And you're talking about an area that's major traffic and stuff. We went out there to not have the traffic and have the seclusion. This takes that totally away. You're not even comparing apples and oranges with what they just compared. So, you know, with where I'm at and where I seriously say I'm not building. And if this is such a great thing and going to improve the value, then I suggest the people that want to do it, buy the people out and take the properties that we have and give us our money back that we have in it. And then they can take and make the money down the road if it's really going to be a positive.
All right, thank you. All right, does anybody else that wishes to speak on this? We'll continue the public portion, so please feel free to come forward and do so. All right, can you raise your right hand for us? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you state your name and address for our record, please?
Kirk Tiemann, 3541 South Point Prairie Road, Wentzville. I have a daughter who's played soccer for 8 years, and she's played club, and we've always had to drive 30, 40 miles just to get training and practices in. And to have a facility that close would have been real nice. It would have saved a lot of money and time. Plus, I live off of Highway Z. I know there's a lot of traffic, but the hours of the practices are usually in the evenings when the high traffic is lower. And Saturdays, well, are busy every place. The road, they're talking about sprinkling the entrance is a right-hand turn in for most of the traffic that would be coming out there, because it'd be coming probably from 70 and so I don't think it's as big a deal as everybody's making it. And it would be, I think, usually with facilities like that, they have to do a lot of grade work to get them flat, so a lot of drainage issues would be taken care of when they did that too. So that's really all I have to say.
Thank you. All right. If there's anybody else that wishes to speak, please feel free to come forward and do so.
I gotta say one more thing.
Okay, got about 30 seconds.
You know, I wasn't going to do this, but I just want to show the value of some of these homes in the area.
Yeah, go ahead and just lay it flat there, and our guys in the back will take care of that.
If they're awake.
Wake up, wake up. There we go.
That's our home that's going to be 300 feet from where these facilities are. And another thing, I think the person that last talked is related to the seller of the property. I don't know, if I'm wrong, please say so. But I think that's kind of important to note. But the house across the street from us that was talking earlier that has the lights are going to come into his house. I mean, he's got a comparable house to that. So it's a lot different from the facility that I'm familiar with where the O'Fallon facility is. So you cannot tell me that this will not diminish the property values of our homes out there. And that is one of the things, you know, I read everything on your website. That is one of the things that you are responsible for evaluating and making a decision about whether this is approved or not.
Excuse me, while you're here, you mentioned before about washing out a culvert. Could you show us, where is this culvert at? Where does the water cross the road down that's causing a problem?
Is there a place I can point? Can I point, or is it
You
usually?
can take that walk
She's
around,
got the,
right.
just kind of tell her where to go. She's got the mouse.
Well, see that triangle section you're on now? Go to the right and down. Keep going down, down, down. But that is our property that you're on right now, part of it. But right where you're at now is where we've had to put in a concrete kind of invert because it's eroding. It's going through that wooded section that is Bob's and Rose's, who I think sent the letter in. It goes through their property and it washes
Is
onto
it
our
coming
property.
across the road? That was really the basis of my question.
Oh, is it coming across the road?
Yes, across Highway Z.
From that property?
Yeah.
From that property.
Yes.
From the separate
Yeah.
property? How's it getting across? Is there a creek or is there a sewer? There's a culvert?
Is there a
underneath the
culvert?
road?
I don't know where the culvert is. Is there a culvert, Jeff? Yeah.
There is, okay.
Where is the culvert at, Jeff?
Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
thanks.
Keeping the public portion open, if there's anybody else in the room that wishes to speak on this particular application, please feel free to come forward and do so. Going once, going twice, it's all right. If the applicant wishes to come forward and address some of the issues, please feel free.
First of all, I appreciate all the concerns of the neighbors, and we're willing to address these things, as long as they make sense, on our side as well. I just want to get that out there. Secondly, also, is it my understanding that Highway Z is going to 4 lanes in the near future? That's sort of a concern that would alleviate a lot of their concerns. I mean, it is a highway we're putting this on, and I think like the gentleman said about O'Fallon, that's a 4-lane as well. So I think that might alleviate some stuff. Something else I want to add too is that the parking is 300,000 square feet of parking right there. So it's more than capable to, there will be no overflow with 300,000 square feet of parking. The time frame, I think someone sort of mentioned that, but practicing is probably 5:30 to 9. I don't think it'd go any later than that. So I think some people were worried about the 10 o'clock time frame. 5:30 to 9 is probably about as late as we'll go. But it is during the day. During the weekdays, there's no one there. It's a ghost town during the weekdays from till 5:30. The weekends, yeah, there might be some games there. There might be more traffic, more flow. But during the weekdays, there's nothing there from 5:30 until 5:30. We have talked to sewer. I believe the sewer is north on Highway Z, about a mile, just under a mile, I think. We have talked about what the cost is going to be to get that down Highway Z, which might be beneficial for everybody. But right off the bat, what happens in these soccer fields, it's probably porta potties, behind a fenced area, so they can't be seen from the highway. But we basically have parents and kids come to the games and they leave, so we don't really have a necessity for a septic system to worry about at this point right now. The drainage, when they put these turf fields in, they come in with a bunch of people the turf field drains a lot of water. So there's a pond actually in back. We've already talked about the turf fields are going to drain, into this pond right there in the back. So it won't hurt anybody with the water coming forward. And I'm not really sure where the water's coming forward onto the highway or across the highway at all myself. I didn't know there was a culvert there. I believe Sprock Road is a 2-lane road as well. Someone had said that it was a 1-lane road. It's a 2-lane road. It's for accessible traffic coming in and out of Highway Z. So it's not a 1-lane road. Also, someone had mentioned that we're going to have a dome there, or it's going to be a huge. It's never going to be that. We are a youth academy club of the Portland Thorns. We're never going to be the Portland Thorns that has 14,000 fans coming to watch our game, watch Alex Morgan play. We are a U8 through U18 youth soccer organization. There'll never be a stadium field. We'll never have a huge field. This is mainly for practicing, and then some games. We have our games. We play our games all over the St. Louis metropolitan area. But at least some of these games can be played out here now in our backyard. We don't have to travel an hour to go to a game. We had a game in O'Fallon, Illinois, about 4 weeks ago, at a turf facility there. So I think this is going to bring a lot to the community. It's going to bring a lot of new people to the community, which is going to help the businesses around the area. So I think that's all I got.
Any final questions for the applicant?
Your interior road that you're going to have on this property, what is that going to be constructed of?
Right in the beginning, probably gravel, then asphalt. You mean the road coming off Sprock Road?
Yes.
Okay. That'll probably be asphalt into the gravel parking lot.
So the road's going to be gravel or asphalt?
Well, the interior road's going to be probably asphalt into the gravel parking lot.
Okay. How many months out of the year are you active over there? Is it?
Yeah, with what the turf fields enable us to do is it enables us to practice during the rain. and then practice a little later into the year. So weather permitting, you might be able to get into December, pretty late until the temperature gets too cold to actually practice on the fields. But then you can also start playing on the fields earlier too, on the turf fields, whereas a lot of the grass is dormant till May if it's Bermuda grass, or if it's bluegrass, maybe a little earlier. But you can probably get on the fields probably in February or March maybe, just depending on what the weather does. But
Maybe 8 or 9 months, 9 or
Yeah.
10 months a year?
yeah, that's a fair assumption.
And you have no PA system there?
No PA system. There's no announcement of players, no announcement of clubs. There's no noise. The only noise you hear is just kids screaming, maybe a fan yelling, for one of their kids to score a goal. But that's just, we're going to be, it's set pretty far back. It's a large piece of property, and about where it says subject properties or where the fields are going to be in there. I know the site plan showed it a little differently, but the subject property is where the fields are going to primarily be, going back towards the back side of the place.
You say your parking is going to be on gravel?
Front side, yeah. In the beginning, asphalt's pretty expensive.
Okay.
Slice is still gravel. They've got a huge parking lot down there on off 370. It's all gravel.
I will point out that area down there off of 370 has a dust cloud.
Yes, it does.
All weekend on it.
Well, they've got a huge drive, is what it is. That dust cloud comes from a huge drive for exiting. So basically, people, kick it up to 35 mile an hour going on. Basically, it's like an outer road of dust, and that's why
I live out there. I know what it is.
Yeah.
Any other final questions for the applicant? All right.
All right. Thank you.
Now bring it back before the commission. Any other final comments?
Question for staff. What's this about 4 lanes on Highway Z?
It is in.
Mr. Griffith was here.
It's in the thoroughfare plan. The thoroughfare plan that's part of the master plan, that the right-of-way of Highway Z will eventually be 120 feet wide. I don't see that happening in the next 5 years, but it's just going to depend on how many rooftops we have in the area and funding with MoDOT.
Can
Or
I
the
take you
county
back
road
some
board.
years ago? Remember, we had a development of Highway Z, and we wanted a turn lane put in, and that caused quite a bit of havoc. We even said we're going to have the developer install and pay for that return lane. It was on the east side, and the state came back and said we didn't have that authority, and it never happened. Do you?
Yeah, right, this is,
Put her on the spot, come on.
the requirements for the turn lane in the right-of-way in Highway Z, yeah, it is MoDOT's call. Usually MoDOT gets us comments ahead of the meeting, they have not, but yeah, MoDOT will address that. They can require the turn lanes if they see the traffic need enough. It has to meet their specifications. They look at so many vehicle trips, and that's what triggers having the right turn lane, and MoDOT will make that determination.
Back to the discussion here.
Any discussion?
What about, this guy is telling us, they're never going to play anything past 9 o'clock, but this application says 10 o'clock.
No, the staff recommendation says 10 o'clock.
Okay.
You guys can amend that in any way that you like.
Okay.
If you don't like my conditions, that's totally, that is all for you to do.
What it means is the lights have to be turned off at 10. That's what it means. They're not going to be out there right till 10 playing. I've had kids in soccer, you leave before the lights are going out. Otherwise, you're in the dark. That's why they have it for the extra hour usually. But I am concerned about the property values of the people that live out there, I have to admit.
I'm concerned about the property values and the noise. I lived a quarter of a mile away from R5 football field at one time. I could read a newspaper in my house at night from the lights, and I could not sleep until that football game was over.
Did they build that after you moved in or before?
They put this new light system in after we moved in.
Yeah, sure.
Thank God it was a rental and we're gone.
And from my perspective, I think it's, the comparison to the Renaud, which I've seen, is a little bit different because all the development around Highway K or in O'Fallon, you know what you're getting into. You kind of know right now where O'Fallon's going, whereas this is not exactly what I would expect if I were living in this
Matt, to add to
particular
that,
area.
it's a 40-mile speed limit, and it's 5 or 6 lanes wide getting down there, yeah.
All right, I will entertain a motion
Well,
to.
one
Go
thing
ahead.
back again, I heard if we would condition this site plan for a berm, that seemed to be very reasonable, a buffer.
Sure, yeah, you can add that to it. I don't know if I would do a 6-foot. A 4-foot is much easier to manage, and then you can put fencing and landscaping on it, and you can easily block 10 feet with a 4-foot berm. But with 3-to-1 slopes, it's difficult to get a 6-foot berm in as opposed to a 4-foot berm.
Well, I would make a motion here, or throw it out, I would say we ought to buffer it with, we do have that vegetation stuff, and I didn't understand the idea of the sloping till you just mentioned that, but how would we condition a decent buffer?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, then are you just looking at the west and south property limits and the frontage along Highway Z?
Yeah,
This
along
area?
Z, at least along Z.
Yeah, you could say, I mean, you could say that within that, let's see, on condition 5 in your packet, 6 as I read it, all improvements shall be set back 110 feet from the center line of Highway Z, and we could say a 4-foot high landscape buffer shall be provided within that setback.
I would make that as an amendment proposal. Is that something we vote on
So they would put it
separately?
in between that
They would put it,
road and the parking lot, basically.
yeah, within the proposed right-of-way and the parking area.
Okay.
Yeah, with the setback area, yeah, sorry.
I make that a motion that we add that buffer.
Okay, if you want to make a
condition.
motion, yeah, we can make it a motion. Is there a second on that?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do the amendment to the conditions by acclamation. All in favor, sign aye. Aye. Okay, so that is officially a recommendation placed upon the application. Anything else before we formally get to the application? If there is none, I will entertain a motion to approve this application as amended. Is there a motion?
So move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Settley, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. McBride?
Yes.
I vote no. Mr. Leonard?
No.
Mr. Fromm?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhn?
Yes.
Ms. Polly?
No.
The motion is approved 4-3. Let's go on to the county council for their final determination at their July meeting mentioned earlier. All right, moving on, the next item on your agenda was the approval of the minutes from last month. Is there you've seen them, is there any changes, comments? Motion to approve the minutes?
We should change them. A couple people were absent.
Yeah,
I was absent.
I was wondering about that. I wanted to.
Sorry about that.
Presence is always a
And I was absent also.
Yeah. Well, you were here in spirit. You were here in spirit. So if, all right.
Sorry, gang.
So we need to amend the minutes to show the correct attendance.
Should get paid too.
Who was here? Sandy wasn't here. Who else was here? Dave Hammond.
So are you going to approve them tonight or wait and approve them next time?
I say we approve the minutes with the recommended changes.
All right, there's been a motion. Is there a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next item on our agenda is the other business portion to a request from the St. Charles County that we schedule a future public hearing to initiate the PUD zoning for a portion of the Jackson Estates. I think it's been brought before us before. We kind of know what's going on there, but they just want us to initiate getting get it on the agenda for next month's meeting. So is there a motion? Let me get the thing. Is there a motion for that?
So moved.
All right, I'll call that a second as well. We'll do this by acclamation. All in favor, sign aye. Aye. Okay. Any other business before the commission before we adjourn for the month?
Motion
I will-
to adjourn.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. See you next month.